Let's have a conversation. Yeah. Let's have a conversation. Oh, yeah. Look. Yeah. Hey. Let's have a conversation. Woo. Pick up some gems, life is all you make. Go. We keep it real, we don't talk to fake. Tell them hottest talk show on the net, coming for all the mates. Let's have a conversation. Woo. Pick up some gems, life is all you make. Go. We keep it real, we don't talk to fake. Tell them hottest talk show on the net, coming for all the mates. I think it's time to have a conversation. Let's talk about it. I think it's time to have a conversation. Let's talk about it.
Hello, everyone. This is Michelle Biggs, CEO of My Best Everyday Coaching and Consulting, and the host of Real Conversations with Michelle. Thank you for joining me, those who have tuned in already. This is the launch episode of my Sister Chat series, and I have been on hiatus for 4 months, y'all. So June was the last time that I actually live streamed a podcast episode. So I am glad to be back. Feeling refreshed and really excited about this series, y'all. I have joining me tonight 3 great friends who I've known for many years, and I'll introduce them in a moment. But for those of you who are new to my podcast and new to me, I am a retired senior HR professional, have worked for an investment bank for 14 years and retired from a pharmaceutical company where I worked for 23 years. I am the CEO and founder of My Best Everyday Coaching and Consulting, which is a coaching company that focuses on life coaching as well as executive coaching. So this podcast actually started in 2020 during the pandemic at a time when all of us were sitting at home. And I'll be honest, I was fiending to have some connections with folks. And the Slopcast was formed then with the goal of talking about a variety of life topics that people could relate to and hopefully be able to do something for themselves, pick up some tidbits, some pearls that they would be able to apply to themselves and in support of others. So this Sister Chat, this launch episode, this Sister Chat is titled Life After 50, and this is a grown woman's conversation, y'all. So let me introduce my guest. First up, I'm going to have Mindy. How are you, Mindy Fuller?
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Hey. And Mindy, one other thing I want to say, this is I consider this an educational episode, and like any other podcast you listen to, make sure you do your homework, right? Everything may not apply to everybody. Make sure you do your homework. So Mindy, introduce yourself, please.
Yes. My name is Mindy Fuller. First of all, I'm a wife and I'm a mom. I've been a state employee for over 30 years. I have created a mentoring program, which Michelle led for over 10 years. And I have worked with one of the other guests, Angela, to create a documentary and create some conferences for young Black males here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, Mindy. I'm hearing an echo. I don't know where that is coming from. Okay, I don't hear it now. Okay, next up, Angela.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Dominique, I see you, girl. Just saw you in September at Michelle's party, August. My name is Angela Evans. I reside in Raleigh, North Carolina. I living my best life. Life over 50 is fantastic. And the joy of my life, my 2 grandsons, and I'm a hip hop head. And I currently work at a nonprofit called Hope Reigns, where we serve children who are going through mental illnesses or, just struggling in life. So we serve kids ages 5 to 18, and I'm the client care manager there and the program administrator.
Yeah, and Angela and Mindy have been my sister girl North Carolina network, and have been great friends and support to me as we all navigate this life that we are now in. And next up is someone, y'all, I don't know why I have not had her on before, but I'm so glad that she's able to join me for this episode. My soror, Miss Venice Reedy Kendall. Hey, Venice.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hey, introduce yourself, Venice.
Okay, so my name is Venice Freedy Kendall. I am a resident of the Bronx, New York. I was born and raised in Harlem, however, and I still go to Harlem every chance I get to do everything. I'm recently retired, about a year. It's just a year this month, from the New York City Housing Authority, where I retired as a quality assurance officer, but I've done many things throughout my 35-year career there at that large city agency. I'm currently retired, like I said, and I'm just enjoying life, trying to figure out this next step and stage of what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of fun things right now, trying to take care of my health and that kind of thing. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you this evening.
Thank you, Venice. And y'all, I have muted y'all because I'm hearing a little bit of an echo, Mindy and Angela. So as we go through these questions, just unmute yourself, okay? And hopefully I see some friends online. So Dominique, hey, Jackie, hey. I see a lot more people. So you might be viewing me from my Facebook business page or my YouTube channel. So welcome. Y'all, we're gonna get started. So this is Life After 50, Grown Woman's Conversation, y'all. So I'm gonna start with my first question for the group. Hey, Felicia. I'm gonna say, hey, 50. Hey, Felicia. So here's my first question, y'all. How has your perception of aging changed as you've entered your 50s? And what does aging gracefully mean to you? So, Angela, I'm gonna start with you first.
You know, when you're younger and you're watching your grandmother and you look at her and you're like, oh my God, 50 is so old. You're not realizing as you approach that age, that's like the best time of your life. So many things that you were concerned about when you were younger, you're not concerned about anymore. You have let go, released a lot of stuff. And if you choose to embrace aging over 50, you can live an amazing life. It's nothing you can't do, nothing you can't accomplish, nothing you can't achieve. You can do whatever you want. All you got to do is look at the greats. Look at Gail, look at Oprah. Life is amazing after 50. It's how you decide to live it.
We can't hear you, Michelle.
You're muted.
Thank you, Angela. We're going to get into more specifics, categories that we'll talk about in a minute. But thank you for that. Venice, how about you?
I think when I was turning 50, I think very much like Angela, I thought about my mother and my grandmother at 50 and other people that I saw at 50. And I thought it was going to be a certain way. But as I turned 50 and became closer to 50, I was like, this is different. Life is different. I'm a grown-up. I felt like I turned into a grown-up at 50 and I could do what I want to do. So aging gracefully for me was not my mother's 50 or my grandmother's 50 or anybody else's 50. I think I took it as my time to shine or be an adult and do what I want to do in this period.
Yeah. Thank you, Venice. Mindy, how about you?
Well, I think some of the things, that were going on when I was younger, I kind of took for granted. Now, being over 50, I'm probably more humbled and blessed. I'm grateful about those things. So I think for me, aging gracefully means, taking time to smell the flowers, because before 50, we were working hard. We were taking care of children. We were, trying to, rob Peter to pay Paul. We were doing all that kind of stuff. And now it's just our time. It's our time to smell the flowers. So I'm trying to approach this in a mindfulness manner.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And for me, y'all, it's funny. I would say the same thing, echo some of the things that you guys said. So when I turned 50, that was the first time I thought, wow, I've now arrived at my mom's age. I remember my mom turning 50, right? All the other periods didn't But when I turned 50, it was like, wow, I remember my mom turning 50, right? And for me, the other thing for me, and y'all know I can get very teary, but I'm gonna try not to. So my birth dad, when I met him, one of the things that I was told was my biological, my paternal grandmother and my paternal aunt, they did not live to 50, y'all. So it was really, it kind of hit me hard that they had not. And I think I just became more conscious about everything, my health at that point, because it was like, wow, I've lived past, my biological paternal aunt and my grandmother. So it just made me think about life very differently approaching age 50. But like you said, Mindy, just blessed and yeah, just living my life like it's golden. That's how I would talk about it. Okay, so let's get into career and passion. Um, have any of you experienced any career shifts? Of course, you, Venice, you retired, right? But new passions after turning 50, and what inspired those changes? So, Mindy, I'll go with you first.
Well, for me right now, life is kind of about preparing for my retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So, me and my husband are kind of setting up some things so that we will be financially supported when we're retired. So, we purchased an Airbnb. He purchased a travel franchise. We have a YouTube channel that we're working on. And so, those things are going to supplement our income. And then, I'm just looking forward to doing some of the things that I really want to do. The documentary for me was not the end. Definitely want to do at least one more documentary and work in some film. So I'm pretty much just preparing for that time right now, thinking of what I want to do, but taking the time right now just to chill and to plan. You
Thank
are muted.
you. Mike went out for a hot second. So thank you, Mindy, for that. How about you, Angela?
So for me, it's a little different. So you guys, Venice and I are the oldest on here. So my trajectory is a little different. So in 2018, I did retire from one place I was working. I was working television, WRL. I left there, and for a couple of years, I did not work. But I was given the opportunity to work at Hope Reigns, where the nonprofit organization, in 2020. So I did have a career shift from working in television, then going to nonprofit. And like Mindy said earlier, me, Mindy, Michelle all have mentored. We've mentored girls. Mindy and I have mentored boys. We did a documentary. And so I've had a couple of different things happening that kind of led me to work in the nonprofit field, because I was doing this work on the side, but now I'm doing the work I love and getting paid for it. But for me, I'm not retired. I am 64, and I was in a marriage for 30 years, which drained a lot of my income. So for me, I will be working longer than most other people. So probably for me, I'll probably be working till I'm 70, so I can replace that income that was, drained during my marriage for various reasons. And so I know there are women out there like me who've been in a marriage, went through divorce, and they're having to, be in the workforce longer. But for me, my job is very easy. I work virtually. I go in the office once a week. I'm paid a corporate salary. I have insurance. So my job it's great. It's a great job for somebody my age. So it's like there's no lifting. I don't have to. I'm the program administrator, coordinator for all of Hope Reigns, and I manage 162 families. But that job comes with a lot of resources. So I'm able to help these families without having to do too much work. I mean, I can go ask for resources. I can go to my CEO and suggest that I need something, and they get it for me. So I'm in a good place right now, and I'm very happy. And I'll be glad to stay there. If they allow me to stay there till I'm 70, I will stay until I'm 70, so I can continue to grow my finances. Yeah.
So, Angela, it sounds like you moved into a role that really aligns with a lot of things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, would you say turning 50 allowed you to think from that perspective in terms of your next move when you were
Yeah,
making your
Michelle,
shift?
Michelle,
Mhm.
honestly, I went to college for one thing. I went to A&T, clothing and textiles. I did work in that field for a while. My goal was to be a buyer, but when I got there, it wasn't my passion. I
Yeah.
hated it. I hated it. And until I started mentoring, when I met you and Michelle, you and Mindy, and I started mentoring, I found out that was my joy, my
Right.
passion. And that's when I ended up working with Wake Tech with Fostering Bright Futures. I ended up mentoring a young lady. And then, of course, Mindy and I going from that to mentoring these young men and doing the documentary. That's where my passion was. I mean,
Yeah.
that was 45 and 50 when I found my passion. So it took
Yeah.
years to
Yeah.
find something that I mean, just I love serving, and
Yeah.
it's like my joy. It's everything to me. So
Yeah.
sometimes it takes longer to find out what you want to do in life, you know.
Yeah. One of the things for me being a coach, one of the things I tell women who are um, seasoned, right? Who are seasoned, vintage, as Dion Cole would say. That's a whole nother conversation, y'all. But this is the time to really, do things that you really love, right?
Yeah,
So absolutely doing the things that you love and trying to figure out how to make that happen,
yeah.
right? Because we
Can,
have
can I?
more years behind us than we do in front of us,
But
right?
those
So how
years
do you
in
make the best of
front
that?
of
Go ahead,
us
Angela.
those years in front of us are the best years. They are
Exactly.
the look.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at Dominique's comment, and she's saying that aging gracefully for me means allowing others to not to put me in a box and tell me what
Absolutely.
50 should look like or how I should act because I'm 50. Dominique, I'm right there with you, girl. I'm a hip hop kid.
Right.
I dress the way I want. I act the way I want. I wear my hair crazy. I got my nose pierced, my ears pierced. Right, Dominique?
Yeah,
I'm right there
Angela
with
and I
you,
got our
girl.
nose pierced. It's like right
Look,
after I
Dominique,
turned
I'm right
50, I
there
was
with you.
like,
Look,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
60, so I
absolutely,
live my
Angela.
best life, and I love hip
Yeah.
hop music.
And Dominique is a perfect example of, I mean, she went from like me working in corporate America, and now she is a marriage therapist, y'all. So, and
Awesome.
I mean, it
Wow.
me, for me, this age, you can do anything it's again,
That's
it's proof that
right.
you can do
Right.
anything that
Anything,
you decide that you want to
anything.
do.
Right.
Life
It,
does
it,
not stop at 50. Go ahead, Benice.
I think it gave us all, well, it gave me a sense of freedom. It just so happened that my daughter left home when I turned 50, like 2 months later. So I was just all over the place because I didn't know what my passions were. I felt like, okay, retirement is on the horizon. I got to get straight as far as that's concerned. But it was a new found sense of freedom for me. So I could do
Yeah,
anything that I wanted. I didn't know what my passions were because I was busy being a mom. I was a widow at 44 years old. So I'm relatively young. I didn't have anybody to connect with as to how to move about that whole world and that kind of thing. But as I became 50, I realized, okay, I need to set myself up for retirement. Okay, so career wise, I did take a job, maybe that I thought about. Okay, Pat, my pension. Let's get. I may not have wanted the job, but I felt like the salary was good. I'm not leaving no money on the table. I've been here long enough.
absolutely.
Not starting all over again. So I'm going to do what I got to do so that when it's time to go, I'm straight. Because I was very clear that I did not want a part-time job anywhere.
Yeah,
I mean, we
yeah. And
joked
Benice,
about, oh,
you,
I'll go to Walmart and be a greeter, but I joked about that for years, but no, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And on a nose ring thing, let's talk about that.
yeah, because we all did that after
I
50.
retired. I left work
I
on
didn't.
Friday, and Monday morning at 10 o'clock, I got my nose pierced
Yeah.
because I
Come
wanted
on,
a nose
sis, let's
ring
go.
that would serve me. And everybody discouraged me all throughout my life, different phases of my life. And I said, I'm getting my nose pierced. And before I left work, I made an appointment. And that Monday morning, I got up and I got my nose pierced. And I'm very happy.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go,
I think
girl.
we
That's
all went
right.
through that change because I remember, so y'all know I got married at 50, got divorced shortly thereafter. That's a whole nother episode. But but after that, after turning 50, to your point, Venice, it was a freedom that I felt. Like you, I did think about how I can retire before I turned 60, and I did. and really just focused on saving, right? Putting as much as I could in my 401k because I knew I knew that I wanted to do something. I knew I wasn't going to stop working altogether, which is my coaching business, right? But really wanted to be in a position where I didn't have to worry about what I did and I can do things on my own terms. So I'm living that life now, right? So I'm so grateful for that. I see your comment, Kim. I love that, living life on your own terms. Yes, it's such a beautiful thing, y'all. So cool. So let's go to another question. Let's talk about relationships. So how have your relationships and whether it's evolved as you've gotten older?
Relationships with whom, Michelle?
Family, friends, or partners. So whatever you want to focus on.
Let's talk about children, adult children.
You can talk about whatever you want to. So you go with the children. Go ahead, Angela.
Let's talk about adult children. I used to be the mom who wanted the attention of my children, that I would buy and do as they asked. So if they say they needed something new, I run my credit card up. For instance, my son just got engaged and, you know, he asked for something and the something was $1,500, and I was going to do it. I thought, you know what? I'm 64. I need to save every dollar. I'm not doing it.
I'm so proud of you, Angela.
I am not.
I am so proud of you.
But I was I was so quick to say, "Oh, son, I'll do that." I did not do it.
I'm proud of you.
Like,
You've come a long way, Angela.
I know it, and I'm not gonna anymore. I was like people pleasing them because I wanted them to love me. I felt like I wasn't loved, so part of me was doing it. You know, the divorce and all that, and how that all came about. And once I said I was going to divorce their dad, they kind of separate themselves from me, didn't want anything to do with me. So part of me was like, even though they're adult children when we got divorced, I mean, 26 and they were 26 and 38, 28 and 38 when I told them. Now they're 40 and going to be 31. They still are kind of upset with me.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to buy my way, buy their love. But you know what? I have surrendered all that to God. I laid it at his feet. And what really what happened today was, you know, my son was in OCS Office Canada School. After he graduated, I loaned him my car because his car, the air conditioner wasn't working. So he had my other car. So I have two cars. So I loaned him my Kia. And I asked him to return my Kia. He returns my Kia back. And I go downstairs. There's no gas in it. He returns my car back to me empty after I graciously loaned it to him for 3 months.
Ooh.
So I sent him a text. I was like, why would you do that? I don't understand. Please come back, pick up this Kia and put some gas in it. Thank you.
Good for you, Angela.
Like I'm learning boundaries. I'm learning to say no, but you all as a mom, it's taking me years because I want their love. And how do I get their love? I'm paying for their love.
Yeah.
But that's not how it should be.
Yeah.
So after like talking to God about it, I'm like, God, okay, I'm done. I'm at your feet. You take care of this, Father.
That's huge for you, Angela. That's huge. Yeah.
And I'm gonna piggyback off of that because for me, I think what I had to release in my relationships with my children were letting them fail. Letting them make mistakes, letting them learn, letting them find out on their own, because we spent so much of our lives trying to protect them and lead them and guide them. But they have to do the same thing that we had to do. They have to figure it out. And I can't figure out your life as much as I would love to. I can't. And even if I did, it wouldn't necessarily be right for them. It would be right for me.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. That's right, Mindy.
I had to lay at God's feet was I'm giving them to you.
Yeah.
I'm giving them to you. And so I'm not going to worry about them anymore. I'm asking you to protect them and keep them and guide them and save them, save their souls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live to see that for all of them or not, save them. And so that's when the rubber meets the road as a Christian. You really have to trust.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When you know that you trust, when
Mhm.
something crazy happens,
Mhm.
it's like, you know what? I'm going to bed.
I know that's
I'm
right.
gonna let go and let God. God got this. Nothing I could do.
Right.
Yeah. Denise, how about you? Because you're the other person with the child. Why don't you speak about?
I only have one child, so the dynamic is a little different. And when I turned 50, she was gone. So I didn't feel like I had to mother her so much anymore. As an only child, she was extremely independent, and I just let her fly. Now, as far as relationships are concerned, I'm gonna talk on a different level because I was single, right?
Yeah.
And I was in a relationship for after my husband passed away, a long-term relationship. And I think when I turned 50, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I don't need him here. I don't need to be in a relationship. And during my 50s, I decided that relationship wasn't going to work out anymore. And I had my large village of people saying, oh, but he's so nice. Oh, but he does this. Oh, but he does whatever. And then I just said one day, but I don't know if I like him anymore.
Right.
I don't want to do this anymore. Right. So that helped me. And then I was single for a while. And then I got involved in another relationship thereafter. And after a while, you start thinking, I think in your 50s, you're like, I don't want to do this with this person.
Yeah.
It's easy to let it go. It's easy for you to say, I don't want to do this right now. I'm sorry. It's easy for you to just let it go. And even in friendships, I have a large village of people that I know, and I've known them for many, many years. And you put everybody in their little box, and I've learned to accept people for who they are, and accept that friendship for how it is.
That part.
That's it. I can't.
Right.
I really feel like I can make new friends, but I'll keep my old friends. But I don't have to put up with certain things. Like I can say no without an explanation.
Right.
Now, my millennial kid taught me to say no without an explanation. I learned that from her, right?
Yeah.
But,
that's a word in the dictionary.
Like, co-workers and friend groups, even family members. There's some family members that I had to say, okay, I'm grown now. I don't have to be your friend because you're my cousin.
Yeah.
I don't like you. And I just don't have to deal with you. I'll deal with you when I have to. And I think it took to my 50s, not my 40s, not my 30s, to say, oh, I don't. Now, we have to talk another time about life after 60, because 60 tells you something totally different. I think y'all ain't ready for it yet. But I think the 50s is when I realized that I don't have to be your friend. I don't need to be your friend. You are my friend. I don't like certain things about you, but you always gonna be my friend.
Right.
And things of that nature.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I was in the same boat. It seemed like once I crossed over, it was my boundaries became stronger. Right. My boundaries definitely became stronger. And I really, what really kind of resonated with me is really the seasons thing. Some people are in your life for a season. And they're there for a reason.
Yes,
and if it didn't work out, I'm just like,
amen. That's what I'm learning.
Okay, Lord, if they come back, we can talk about it. I will always open to talk about things. But if it wasn't working out, I'm just like, bye-bye. I'm good.
You know, for me, you guys are so far ahead of me, because being in a 30-year marriage where I was so dishonored and didn't have any boundaries, I'm having to learn it now, because I started therapy last week. Oh my God, which was so beneficial. And I have to learn boundaries at this age because I didn't have them. I didn't have them with children. I didn't have them with my ex-husband, is what I'm learning in divorce care. They say husband, my ex-husband. And so I'm in divorce care and in therapy, and oh my God, it's so good. It's helping me so much.
And Angela, it's funny because after my divorce, it's the same thing, right? And the boundaries piece, I really learned how to step into that space
Mhm.
during that time, which was needed, right? But it really, I think what I learned, even beyond that, because it wasn't just him in the relationship, is sometimes we enable things to happen based on how we interact with people, right? We
Mhm.
become enablers. And I think
Mhm.
when I
Mhm.
turned 50, it was like, I'm not doing this enabling thing anymore with anybody, right? I needed to set my boundaries in terms of that.
But
So,
I also think too that having boundaries and saying no,
mhm,
it's so liberating.
yeah,
It's so liberating.
it is. It
And it's
is.
like, and now it just, Angela, once you start doing it, it's going to come so natural. And, you're just going to be like,
No.
no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys,
Mhm.
we have a question
Yeah, I see
from
it.
Jackie. Yeah. How do you figure out?
I see. Yeah, I see
work?
one from Jackie, and I see another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back to Jackie's
Mm,
question. It says,
yeah,
how did you
mhm.
figure out it was time to leave your work,
Mhm.
especially when you want to blow up the entire house, want to secure a bit more 401k?
You can't do that, Jackie. Don't blow up the
And don't tell anybody you
So
want to blow the
Jackie,
place up because then
Yeah, don't say that
Jackie.
out
Don't do
loud.
that,
Yeah, don't say
girl.
that out loud. But Jackie, I told someone, and this is when I'm coaching women, when I'm coaching anyone, it's like when everything starts to get on your nerve, you
Mhm.
know it's
Right.
time
Time
to
to go.
leave.
Right.
And even as an HR professional, for me, it was little things just started to bother me. And I knew at that point in time, it was time for me to start thinking about transitioning. So if you're in that space where everything is and it sounds like, Jackie, you may be in that space based on your comments, sister girl. You need to start thinking about, okay, what else when would you want to make your exit? And the best thing I can tell you is start talking to a financial advisor if you have not yet, right? Start talking to a financial advisor because you may be in better shape than you think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know I
Yeah.
was. So definitely start talking to a financial advisor to make sure you're in a good place. And yeah, girl, it sounds
And,
like you may already be there. Go ahead, Mindy.
I was
and
gonna ask.
it's
Go ahead.
really about preparation, and you have to pay attention to your spirit as well, because sometimes the spirit is saying, it's time to go. And you have to listen to that. There was an older lady at a job at a agency that I used to work in, and she was retiring, and there was another lady that told her, she said, I really want to retire, but I can't see me, if I do 2 more years, I'll get my full benefit. I can't see me losing out on that, for those 2 years. And the lady said to her, she said, I want you to listen to me carefully. If you feel like it's time for you to go, then you need to go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that and the moral, and what happened with her is she left. She probably had 2 good years with her and her husband just living life, and he died from cancer maybe like 2 years later. And if she would not have done that, she would not have had that time with her husband. So some of it is just like, what is your spirit saying to you? Talk to God about it, and then prepare,
Yeah.
I was
And
going to
Mindy,
ask
how
her
many
if
people,
she's
Angela,
vested. She's fully vested. If she's fully vested in her 401k, like if she's fully vested and she's been there for a number of years, then I would just not worry about it. Take
yeah.
that fully vested 401k. Michelle, your money guy is my money guy now.
Yeah.
So so my money is in there and he's been working my money. So I would
Good.
say if you're vested and you've got enough, if it's you, are you married? Do you have a husband? I mean, what does it look like? What's your whole situation? You have kids, Jackie? Is it just you? Can
Yeah.
you take
Jackie
that
has older
401k
kids too. Yeah. Jackie has
and
older
move it?
kids too.
She does.
But
So if she can take a
yeah.
401k, move it over and put it with the person like you showed me, finance person, Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, the financial advisor really helped settle
Mhm.
me in terms of making my step, right? But as Mindy mentioned, and I've seen this so many times at my previous job, people waited until they were 65 and 70, and then they did not get a chance to enjoy their life, y'all. They passed away afterwards, right? So you really didn't get a chance to enjoy that time. So, pray about it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to your accountant, your
Mm-hmm.
advisor,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure, because a lot of times, and I know there's a big jump, and I'm not a financial expert, but I know the longer you wait, the amount that you get becomes, more. But you got to think about your peace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you want to do after you retire and being able to enjoy it, because tomorrow's not promised to any of us, right? And we can't take this money with us. So, Jackie girl, it sounds like you might need to start talking to some people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I see Dominique's
Mm-hmm.
comment. I allowed my grown sons to see my vulnerability. They saw me as superwoman, and I needed them to see me as a perfectly imperfect woman who happens to be their mom. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Jackie, yeah, I'll send you the information, because he does work across states. So I'll send you his information for
Yeah.
sure.
And Jackie, he works with me too. He's good. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd like to add that the financial piece, working with an advisor, will calm your nerves.
It sure
Um,
will.
Yep.
Had one since my husband passed away, and it was a point where he was like, "Okay, what you gonna do now? Because it's time for you to go."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, but I need," and I, for one, do know my husband passed away at the age of 44, 45
Yeah.
Mhm.
with a heart attack right after he retired. He didn't even get his first pension check.
Oh,
So
man.
Yeah.
Oh my
first,
goodness.
the pension check came the next day after he passed away. So
That's what
that
I'm
already
saying.
framed in my mind that I kind of need to make a decision, because nothing's promised.
It's
Nothing's
not.
promised to anybody. So, he had 4 or 5 months before he was gone, and he looked forward to and then with his line of work, it was very stressful, and it was known, and law enforcement is known that a lot of them don't live long after they retire. And he knew
Yeah.
that, which is why he left at the end of the 20 years. But I just knew that in my mind, in my head, I don't want to leave my kid here by herself,
Yeah.
because I'm stressing
Yeah.
out about a job. And because I want to get money, you'll be fine. And I said that to say that the financial piece is just really important, to get a financial advisor or somebody to look at your finances, because sometimes we think we don't have enough,
And you're better than you are. Yeah.
Right.
Even you guys, when I was buying my new car, I was telling him what I wanted. He said, "Angela, this is your budget." And so when I went back to him and said, "I want to do this," he said, there was an extra amount of money if I wanted to upgrade to a bigger one, right? He said, "Is that going to provide for you?" He broke it down for me. Is that going to provide for you when you're 70, 75? I said, "No." He said, "No, this is the one you get."
Right. Keeping it real.
Keep it real.
Real with me. Told me what
Yeah.
I could get. He said, "Don't get that big one. You get this one. That's it." I said, "All right."
Yeah.
He advised me,
Cool.
I go to him. I asked him before I even bought the vehicle. I asked him. I said, "This is what I want." He said, "Here's your budget, and don't go any
Yeah.
further."
Yeah.
So
Definitely, accountant, advisor, you may be in a better place than you think. And you definitely want to be able to join these years, because y'all know, my friends know, my dad passed away last year, so I really didn't do a whole lot. I retired on the 16th. My father had April 16th. My father passed away on April 1st, and I kind of stopped. I just froze a little bit personally, just dealing with my own emotions. But this year, y'all, I've definitely been living my life.
you've been everywhere. You've been jet set. You ain't never home. You ain't home now.
Michelle been on tour.
You ain't home. Yeah, she's been on tour, an usher tour. You ain't been home.
Don't talk about me. Don't talk about me. Okay, so here's
golden.
I'm living my life like it's golden, y'all.
She sure
for
is.
sure. Okay, so we're going to talk about confidence and identity. In what ways have you grown more confident or self-assured in your 50s? And all of y'all kind of talked a little bit about that. Have your priorities changed compared to younger years? Michelle,
verbs
I
have
see your note.
changed.
She said she gone. Michelle, I'm gonna exit you out. And leave.
Michelle said, "You
That's my
go."
other. That's my other bestie,
That's right,
other
Michelle.
North
You're
Carolina
right. She
bestie.
go.
She
Yeah.
knows.
But I think
Um,
what happens post 50, Michelle, is that you're a woman, you're a grown ass woman, and you're sure of
yeah.
yourself,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like it comes into you, like it just flows into you, and you just become more confident. Like, I'm so sure of what I do at my job and how confident I am at my job, the ideas I put on the table at my job that they implement, that I've grown my position beyond what it was when I started. But you know where that confidence came from? I'm going to give partial credit to Michelle and Mindy for pushing me when I didn't want to move, be up front, even with the documentary, even with Judah Tribe, like pushing me forward. And so when you have friends who are doing that, and like Mindy was like, Angela, you talk, like Mindy ain't talking. Angela, get up there and talk. Because our documentary, we were doing a tour, we were showing a film, we were speaking at places, and we had to engage with people. So I give them partial credit for that they kind of pushed me forward and built my confidence. And so my organization I work for is 99.9% women, 95% white. Well, 99.9% white. There are 3 Black women there and 1 Latina. And so it's an organization where sometimes it is hard as a Black woman to say what you have to say, but they have been very intentional in allowing our voices to be heard. So I've been able to put ideas out there that they have implemented, which builds my confidence even more.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah,
I would
that's
say
good.
post 50, man, like life has been great after 50.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add to that? Anything more you want to say?
I just think what Angela said is true. I think once you get to your 50s, you realize you're grown and you do what you got to do. And you don't have to you have boundaries, and you don't have to question things anymore. It's like, it is what it is, and that's it. That was my favorite line for the longest in my 50s. It is what it is. Even before Michelle Obama said it, it is what it is. It was a magnet on my cabinet and at work that I would point to. It is what it is. I said it. This is it, and that's it.
Absolutely.
And that's what I was going to say, Venice. It is what it is at this age. Like, at this point, this is what you get.
Take it as
This is what you get.
I love it, Mindy. This is what you
It
get.
It is. Rochelle mentioned, so again, my other she's part of my Fab Four friends in the Sister Girl Circle in North Carolina. She said, I think for me, as I grow closer to God, I learned to love myself more as his child. I know he's got me.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Michelle.
Absolutely,
Amen, girl.
Michelle. Absolutely. Okay, y'all, I'm going to slide into this topic. And none of us are medical experts, but we know this topic is hot for people. Y'all know what it is, right?
Menopause.
Yes. We're gonna slide in there, knowing none of us are medical experts, but we're gonna speak from our experience, right? So, how has menopause impacted your life physically, emotionally, or mentally? And what advice would you give to others going through it? Who wants to tackle that first?
Well, I think I will.
Go ahead, Mindy.
Because I have had a time with menopause. I know some women don't go through much, but I had a time.
Yeah.
The bad part with my menopause was it occurred at the same time of my mother's death. So I had like a double whammy. On top of that, what was happening to me, I didn't know if it was menopause or grief. I don't know if I'm crying because I'm grieving or if I'm crying because of the menopause. It's not making sense what I'm crying about, because I'm not crying about anything. But what I would like to say to women is menopause is not, the medical profession has really not advanced in this area in the way that they should have. A lot of doctors are not trained in menopause. Now,
And the big thing too, Mindy, everybody
It's different.
may react to menopause very differently. Everybody's reaction
Mhm.
during menopause,
Well,
it's
it
different.
is because
Yeah.
there's like 35 symptoms. And I'm telling you, if you think something's wrong with you, look up those symptoms. Just look
Yeah.
up those
35,
symptoms
y'all.
and see
35.
if you have any of them. And so for me, it has been, I've really, really had to research for myself.
Mhm.
And I've had to, because you're losing three things at menopause. You're losing estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. You're losing all three of those at the same time. So you got to figure out what you're going to do with that, how you're going to handle that, how you're going to get that back. So it's going to take research. You're going to have to look at your symptoms. You're going to have to see what you can do for each one of those. You need herbs. You need a good OBGYN that knows what
Excellent.
they're talking
Yeah.
about, that really knows what they're talking about. Because you don't want to go there and they throw things at you without you having done some research, because you need to be able to go there and say, you know what, I read about this, I want that. Is that good for me? And then you can talk from that standpoint. When people are just kind of throwing things at you, they're just throwing them at you.
Yeah.
So
And Mindy,
I
you really opened my eyes with the 35 symptoms. I didn't realize it was that many until you said that the other night. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize it. But my whole menopause experience was very different because I didn't even know I was going through it. I mean, it was
and
very light.
a lot of women don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very light. I remember feeling heat radiating from the back of my neck and going up. And literally, I was working out. I had dreadlocks, was working out. And I remember the young lady who was my trainer. She's like, "Miss Biggs, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Why?" And I was sweating profusely, right?
Mhm.
And literally left there. This is how my buzz cut came about. I left there, went and bought some clippers,
Oh
and
my
I cut off
goodness.
all my hair that night. Because I'm
Wow.
like, ooh-wee, it was, but that was one of the reasons why I ended up with the buzz cut and hadn't gone back. But some people experience it very light, and I didn't see my mom going through it, right? So I really had no one to kind of look to say, okay, what is this that I'm doing, other than to talk to the doctor. And like I said, I didn't realize I was even going through it until
And
later in life.
our parents don't talk about it.
They don't talk
Nobody
about
told
it.
me. Nobody told me
Mm-mm.
this. I'm like, what? Y'all just left me out here in the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's gonna
It's
be
so
another
good problem
episode,
in our
y'all.
community that we don't share the information.
Yes.
And
Right.
everybody wants to keep it quiet. I didn't necessarily have that big of a deal with the menopause situation. But when things came up, I worked with other women that were going through menopause, and I was like, "Hey, I'm sweating like you were sweating, but I don't feel high or whatever." And they shared the information, like, "Go get you some Pinkham or whatever it was, or drink this
Right.
tea, or like one woman said to me, "Listen, I didn't even notice it. It's the
Right.
sugar. It's the sugar. Like I had
Mhm.
sugar in my tea in the morning." She said, "Cut that sugar out of your tea in the morning."
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
morning hot flash. I was like,
That's- yeah.
it's gonna be a thing. I learned about I never understood sleeveless turtlenecks. I always say, why was somebody wearing sleeveless turtleneck until menopause?
Well,
Right?
that and your triggers, Bernice, because for
Right.
me,
You got it
what I
right.
found out, caffeine,
That's right.
wine, right? And for me, rushing. If I'm rushing, wine. Otherwise, I'm good. But the
Yes.
the
So,
night sweats
for-
and all that, I didn't have all of that.
So
Yeah.
my symptoms were extreme. But I also had very serious period. So when I was young, I had the kind of menstrual cycle where I had to miss one day of school because I would have diarrhea, vomiting. And back then they put me on 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, but it had to be prescribed. But I had severe cycles. And so my menopause was severe to the point I was in deep depression, severe anxiety. I couldn't even drive my car. Like I could drive 35 miles per hour. I had anxiety about going over a bridge. I would have sweat so bad at night, I'd drench all my clothes. So I got on the patch hormone replacement therapy. I was on it for 5 years and it changed my life once I got on that patch. but I
Yeah.
had my menopause symptoms even after I got off the patch. I still was having hot flashes really bad, bouts of. So I was on antidepressants for a while. I was on anxiety medication for a while, and then I was still having a cycle. So I had to have a hysterectomy, even though it was a
Yeah.
menopause.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of. My mom, I found out later when she had Alzheimer's, and I had power of attorney one time when my dad went somewhere, that my mom had severe menopause symptoms, and she was on antidepressants, but she never told me. She never told me. And so I remember a couple of times when my mom would have to throw up for reasons, or she'd be shaking and hot, like, and turn the fan on. Like, but she didn't say it was menopause.
Right.
She never said anything. So I think of all my friends, including Michelle and Mindy, I've had my symptoms were, I mean, to the point I couldn't even get out of the bed. They were really bad. And then once I went to the doctor and got the patch, that just stopped everything.
And then let me just interject here that if you go to a doctor, because I found this with other health issues, and you know that something's wrong and they blow you off, you keep moving to somebody else until somebody
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, especially with us as women of color, they kind of blow it off like, oh, you need to get some more rest, or you're not eating properly, or like a doctor told me one time, oh, sometimes when you get over a certain age, there are certain things you just can't eat anymore. Meanwhile, I had gallstones just growing huge inside, but she said, oh, well, you can't eat broccoli anymore. You're over 40, you can't eat broccoli. But it was gallstones. So I think we as women have to advocate for ourselves better when we go to the doctor, or even talk to other women, because other women, like the story, Angela, is like intriguing to me, that I've never met anybody that has gone through all those different symptoms. But then again, I don't know, because maybe I think Jane over there is crazy, but she's not. You know what I mean?
Well, but Denise, you're going into the next topic, which is about health, right? Because as we get older, things about our bodies change. And I know, speaking of not being able to eat certain things, there's foods I have to stay away from, which I didn't realize before. But being able to talk to your doctor, to your point, and keep pushing if you're not getting the answers that you want, especially if you're still feeling symptoms. Don't think you're crazy. Talk to somebody.
Right.
Because as we get older, our bodies change, and definitely after 50, Lord knows, it just feels like, oh, I never felt that before, right? So make sure that you do follow up with your primary care physician, your OBGYN.
Would you read Dominique's comment, please?
I'm not talking to Dominique. He said, I got my man believing the night sweats are because he's a sexy hot. You know what, Dominique? I'm gonna have to block you.
Dominique, you a fool.
Dominique, yeah, I'm gonna have to block you. But you're speaking the real.
Look, keep telling him that, Dominique.
I know.
That's right, girl.
But listen, I know my irritability, which I did not realize. Again, 35 symptoms, Mindy. I was very irritable and moody, and never really associated that with menopause. Right now, would I have made different decisions if I knew that's what it was? I'm not sure that I would have, but at least I would have understood it, right? So, yeah, don't take your symptoms for granted, especially if it's something new. Get it checked out,
and then keep going until you find somebody that's listening to you. Because if they're blowing you off, then it's not a good thing.
Yeah, and I'll also say, talk to your girlfriends. And talk to your family members, because it was Angela who brought me some black cohosh,
right?
Because I was having the sweats, the flash. So talk to your friends are going through the same thing.
They are,
and I learned about a lot of different from a lot of Latina women. Oh, mommy, you gotta do this. You gotta drink this. You gotta do that. This stuff works. This stuff works. So you talk to people, because in my family, most of them had hysterectomy, so they didn't go through the natural process. I was one of the few, so I didn't have anybody to lean on when I thought that's what it was. But I talk to women all the time, so I'm like, hey, listen, I'm dying here. You know what's going on? You know, so I think that's important.
Talk to your friends. Somebody maybe tell you something.
You got to learn how to share.
Right.
Very much so, Denise. Very much so.
Okay, I got two more questions, y'all. So one is talking about facing stereotypes. So have you encountered societal stereotypes once you turn 50 or after you turn 50? And how do you push back against those perceptions? Angela.
The only one I encountered really was my Aunt Faye.
Mm-hmm.
I was wearing my overalls that had some holes in them, right? And my aunt said, "You're 60. Why are you dressing like that?"
Mm.
I'm like, "Aunt Faye, this is how 60-year-olds dress now." And when I got my nose pierced, I went home and I sat down in front of my dad. He looked at me straight. He said, "You're not going to work like that, are you?" So it was my 80-year-old dad and my 70-year-old aunt who were the ones who like, that's not how you're supposed to be that's a stereotype. Like when you turn a certain age, you're supposed to dress a certain way, right? Old, raggedy. You can't wear nothing V-neck. You can't wear nothing sexy. You got to look like I don't know. And you definitely can't get a nose. You can't get a nose pierced or ear pierced when you're 60. That's against the rules.
Well, and the thing of it is, what I find is the 50s today is not like the 50s of our parents.
That's right.
Right. Because many times I encounter people and they're like, "You're 50?" And I'm like, yeah, I know I got my gray hair and y'all seeing that, but definitely I don't feel, well, let me go back. I feel some of the symptoms of being 50, right? Hip flexors and things like that. But, we don't act, or I don't think any of us act like we old when we think about what society may think someone at 50 should be acting like, right? So thank you for that. Mindy, anything you want to add there?
And I don't care. I don't care. I just don't care. I just don't care what you think.
Mindy.
It is what it is, right, Venice? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I love it.
And then on the flip side, when somebody says, like when the doctor walked into me before he even looked at my hurt ankle and said, "Well, at your age," hold it right there. Hold it right there. Because I'm not embracing that.
Right.
I'm not embracing that. Because before he even looked at anything, at your age, this could become a chronic condition. Yeah, well, I don't have any intention, I said to him, on coming here every month.
Yeah.
And you're going to figure out what's going on so we can keep it moving. Because so what?
Yeah.
So what? I'm a certain age. You know what time your body knows what time it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you don't need anybody else to point it out to you and put limitations on you.
Exactly. And that's the part. It's like, why are you putting a limitation on me because I'm over 50? I mean, I know when I should stop doing something, right? If I'm not feeling good, I'm not going to do it, right? So, Venice, your daughter put in, I think this is your daughter, Ariana, and not my girlfriend's daughter. She said, "I don't believe in this saying too old to wear that. It's all about how you style it."
That sounds like my daughter. Because
Ariana. Ariana, right on, sister. Right on. Yes. Right on, sister.
There are times that I'm like, I don't know if I could. There were times that I would say, I don't know if I could wear that. And she nipped that right. She has helped me through the whole process, actually, of aging. It is me.
She says me.
Yeah. I think she's helped me through that
I've worn things where my belly's been out the side. Look, I watched the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the other night, and I saw Cher, 78, still rocking gown she wore. I was like, "Cher, I'm gonna be just like you at 78. Yep. Cher is fly. She's wearing fly stuff." I'm like, that's how you have to be. You don't have to be what the society says you have to be.
Yeah.
You don't.
Well, she also has a 35-year-old boyfriend.
I know, he's so cute. Yeah. He had a son with him.
I saw that too.
I know, he's cute. I saw him too. I was checking him out.
Hey.
That's gonna be me, y'all.
Mindy, you have anything you want to add to that?
I'm single. If any men are watching, I'm single. Go ahead.
Oh Lord, that's a whole nother. Angela, I'm gonna put you on mute and block your video. Mindy, anything you want to add? That's a different episode, Angela. You trying to help these women out here. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm good. It is what it is.
It is. Mindy, I'm gonna start saying that, girl. It is what it is.
Well, y'all know I just say a Crystal no. I was like, whatever. Right? Loke said whatever. That was a big. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna wrap this conversation up. But I appreciate y'all. But anything you would want to say that we haven't talked about, anything you would want to share in terms of just life after 50 that we didn't get a chance to talk about.
We didn't talk about sex after 50. I think that's important.
Yeah, Angela, we can get deep into that. I don't want to get too deep into that, but we know there's life after 50. How about that?
Right. Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
We're gonna keep it PG. There's still life after 50.
Well, we need to do an episode on that, girl.
Well, it may be your podcast. Okay, I gotta keep this. Yeah, I'll keep it. Yeah. There is life after 50. How about that? We'll just
Absolutely.
keep it at that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go see your
Yeah,
doctor.
I mean,
Go see your
the
doctor
only-
if you need to.
the only thing that I would say is this is your time.
Yeah.
This is your time. And you've been figuring it out for everybody before 50.
Mhm.
So now it's time to figure it out for yourself.
Mhm.
Amen,
Like-
Mindy.
Take your time. Don't rush it. I've been going through this process for a year now. I'm still in
Yeah.
the middle of it. I'm giving myself the time, and I know that God it has me right where I need to be right now. I'm taking my time.
Absolutely. Living life like it's golden. Look, Jackie, I'm going to take Jackie's question because Jackie said gray hair or color it. Jackie, my next episode is going to be a good one. We're going to talk about I am not my hair. But let's talk a little bit about the gray hair thing. Because I mean, me and Venice are definitely on the side of, look, I ain't got to color my hair.
come there easily.
Yeah. It
I
took
colored my
me a
hair
minute.
I colored my hair for a very long time.
Mhm.
Jackie, you know, I just cut my hair last year. What happened was COVID forced me to embrace the gray.
Yeah.
Because both times I had COVID, I had a tremendous amount of hair loss. And that second time, it came out, like a tremendous amount of it came out. And on top of that, I had a big health scare about 5 years ago. No, it's maybe 7 now. And I had about 35 rounds of radiation. And what I did notice during that time, although my hair didn't completely fall out, it was never the same color. It was some weird color, right? So I felt like a raccoon because it was white here, it was another color here, and then another color here. I was constantly rinsing, and I would come back from the hair salon and be like, "Oh, she missed some hairs here. What's going on?" And I'm spraying and doing all kinds of things. Well, that last bout of COVID, I just walked in there hoping I didn't have bald spots, right?
Yeah.
And she said, I didn't have bald spots. So she said, in a perfect world, what do you want your hair to look like? At that moment, I said, I'm tired of fighting this damn gray. I'm just tired of it. And everybody that knows me knows that I just didn't want to see now one thing gray. But then she decided to do the platinum. And then I walked in there thinking it was going to be shaved off because I didn't know that it had fallen out in so many places. So once I did do the color, because it's platinum, and then during the winter, I let it grow out. And I was like, I'm tired of fighting it. I'm tired of fighting it. Now, they always say that it makes you look older and this, that, and the other. I think the important thing is to just take care of it.
Yeah.
I think gray hair is flattering. Gray hair is flattering on Black women.
Yeah.
Black women look so gorgeous in gray hair.
I never thought that.
For me, yeah, I'll tell you, I have an aunt who refuses, and she's 80. She refuses to have gray hair. But for me, I just got tired of coloring it because I had at one point I was coloring it almost every 4 weeks, and I just said I'm not doing it anymore. So for me, I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep it as it is. It's gonna be, look, it is what it is, and I was not going to put any more color in it because I wasn't gonna live that life. And even with the short hair, I keep going back and forth. Maybe I'll grow it out. And then I'm like, nah, it is what it is. Simplicity becomes a very, becomes top of mind once you turn 50. Everything is like simplicity of life, period. Right? But Mindy and Angela, your thoughts in terms of the gray hair?
Girl, I just do a weave. And the reason why I do a weave, I don't wear my hair. My hair is fairly long, but I work at a ranch, Venice, with horses and dust and dirt. And so when I have to go out there, I can't. All that dust and dirt, it's just, and especially when it's hot in the summer and I'm out there, it's like you are just filthy. And so I'd rather just do this. So I'm not having to wash. And when I
Yeah.
wash this is easy to wash. I don't have to
Yeah.
worry maintaining my hair.
Yeah.
And so eventually, you know, I'll probably get like that. My mom, who passed from Alzheimer's at 78, had her hair dyed. My mom never wore, even when she didn't know who she was. I remember the last time we dyed her hair, and she looked in the mirror and she recognized herself.
Wow.
Yeah, but my mom never had gray hair.
Mm-mm.
She
And like I
always
said,
had a
y'all,
burgundy.
I have
She
an
had a
aunt.
burgundy. She had a burgundy red. And when she passed at 78, when she passed, her hair was dyed. So when she was buried, it was dyed. It was not gray
Yeah.
because my daddy knew that his wife would not. She probably come on that grave and haunt my daddy if her hair was
Yeah.
gray. So
Yeah.
her hair was
Yeah.
dyed. We make sure
Yeah.
we had her hair dyed even when she was in the bouts of Alzheimer's. So yeah.
Yeah. And y'all, the next episode of Real Conversations is actually going to be called I Am Not My Hair. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about
Mhm.
this and some other stuff. But Mindy, anything you want to add to that?
Well, for me, I don't like. I'm in the in between stage. Like I got little gray, and so I don't like it. I don't. You know, I'm still doing the rent. So I'm looking forward to like when it really gets gray, like really, really gray, and then I can just go all the way. And I'm in my mind, I'm seeing myself in a really nice short haircut with that platinum gray.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to it, but I'm just not there yet.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. It's definitely a journey in terms of women, period, in terms of all things eye hair. Right.
Mhm.
But I do
Mhm.
think once you get a certain age, it becomes a point. It's just like, look, it is what it is. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Right. And kind of keep it moving. But y'all, this has been a great conversation. Thank you to my audience who has been very engaging. I appreciate y'all. Let your friends know if they weren't able to join us live. The links that I shared on my page, they will still be able to watch the episodes from those same links. And I don't have a date yet for November. Well, I do have a date. I just need to check to make sure my guests are good for that date. But thank you, y'all. And I'm going to have my guests go into the green room. Y'all just wait for me to return. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed our first episode in the sister series chat. I look forward to our other conversations that I have. And like I said, next month it is I Am Not My Hair. Enjoy the rest of the week. Happy Friday Eve, y'all. And see you soon. And if you have not subscribed or liked my business page, please do that. My Facebook business page, as well as my YouTube channel, and hit notifications so you can see when our next episodes, or you're alerted to when the next episodes are coming. All right. Take care, y'all. Bye.